The fish rots from the head down in reality. That tends to be how things work. It's not military campaigns. It's not economic woes that destroy a country. In the end of the day, what really destroys things legitimately is when countries stop abiding by their own morals and values. It's when the citizenry as a whole realize that they're serfs and that the masters that they serve don't abide by the same rules that they do. And you're going to see an example of that right here.
Dr. Fauci, knowing that it is a crime to lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function.
So
let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans.
Right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And
these men, these academics who run us, have 4 million deaths on their hands from this virus. That's 4 million human beings across the world who have died from this virus. 500,000 inside of this country. Give or take some gunshot wounds and car accidents and, regular flu disease. Well, they have some deaths on their hands, right, in this country. And let's be honest here, all right? They'll never see a day where they go to court. They'll never see a day where they go to jail for what they did, because they're protected by the media and protected by the academia, and they're protected by the rest of the government, because no one is going to actually hold them accountable for what they've done.
Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly, and I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about.
Look here, man. All right, I understand that the NIH might not have funded this direct research, or they may have funded this direct research. They may have been the exact reason why this happened. This was supposed to be stopped, and it ended up getting put back on the plate again from another one of you individuals who were unelected. Obama stopped this, right? I'm going to keep this 100. Obama stopped this research. This research should have been stopped. Because it's dangerous. Taking a virus that is not transmissible to humans and turning it into a virus that is transmissible to humans, it's literally creating biological weapons. Whether or not you go, oh, that's not how we're going to use it, I don't give a shit. That is literally creating a biological weapon. It's a ticking time bomb for when something fucks up. Be it a flood, be it a hurricane, a tornado, an earthquake, doesn't matter. A rebellion, pick a fucking story. And you didn't even do it inside of your own country where, it could have been controlled. You did it outside of our country where now we have the choice. We have two choices where either A, we lock down our entire country and don't let a single individual inside or outside of this country for the next 10 years until this is gone. Or we continue to go through year after year worrying about having to lock down because these strains continue to get worse because of your fucking research, and more people die. We are going to have to worry about this turning into an epidemic that wipes out our civilization because of these pieces of shit, and they will never see a day in court because of it. This is the problem with guys like Dr. Fauci, who aren't stand up enough to go, it is my fault. I take responsibility and I should be judged accordingly. Because then at least this man would stand here and be a moral individual and take the blame for what he did. But no, he's not going to do that. Let's continue.
Okay, you get one person.
Let's read from the NIH
Chair, can I
definition of
answer
gain
the
of
question?
function. This is your definition that you guys wrote. It says that scientific research that increases the transmissibility among mammals is gain of function. They took animal viruses that
Manimal.
only occur in animals, and they increase their transmissibility to humans. How you can say that is not gain of function?
It is not.
It's a dance, and you're dancing around this because you're trying to obscure responsibility for 4 million people dying around the world from a pandemic.
And let's Dr. Fauci.
I have to. Well, now you're getting into.
Oh, now they're stepping in and go, wait. You have to let this individual talk, blah, blah, blah. Because, legitimately, like, if he gets exposed, like really exposed by what he is, the entire system may collapse. Right? And the Democrats will never run anything ever again. Probably not, though, because the media is going to run interference and go, oh, just one rogue guy or whatever the case is. And they'll put all the weight on his neck. The truth of the matter is there's 100 bureaucrats around him who all deserve the electric chair. Him and every person in his office and his entire bureau should be shot. Flat out. Should be made to stand trial, tried for murder, and given the death penalty. They should be. But they're not gonna. Right? In a just and moral world, that's exactly what would happen. If justice was real, that would happen. But no, the guy who went into the White House and took selfies, he's going to do 8 months in fucking real prison. This man will never see the inside of a courtroom and never be fucking sentenced for this. It's complete trash.
Something. If the point that you are making is that the grant that was funded as a sub-award from EcoHealth to Wuhan created SARS-CoV-2. That's where you are getting. Let me finish.
We don't know.
Well,
we don't
wait
know
a minute.
If it did come from the lab, but all the evidence is pointing that it came from the lab, and there will be responsibility for those who funded the lab, including yourself.
I totally
This committee will allow the witness to respond.
I totally resent the lie that you are now propagating.
No, you totally resent the fact that you're scared of fucking prison. You're scared to be held responsible for your actions because you're a bureaucrat. And bureaucrats don't actually think that it's their responsibility to be held responsible for their actions. When the truth of the matter is, the buck stops with you. The NIH is ran by you. You have stood here and made this irrevocably worse the whole way through. Instead of when all this started, if your first words when you came out was, we need to shut the borders right now and not let anybody else in here. No one from any place in the world needs to be able to come to America for the next year until this is figured out. We could have fucking, survived. Legitimately, we wouldn't have had 500,000 people die. Our economy wouldn't have shut down. Granted, we would have had a lot of goods that wouldn't have came in. But then again, we would have had to rebuild things and, reopen manufacturing in this hemisphere. We should have made sure that us and Mexico and everybody below Mexico didn't let anybody to fuck into this goddamn fucking this side of the world. But that didn't happen. Why? Because your bullshit ideologies are more important than the fucking 5 million people who died through this fucking virus.
Senator, because if you look at the viruses.
Add to that the 100,000 people who fucking overdosed on heroin this year. My fucking fellow Appalachians who sat here and died of drug overdoses from the effects of this fucking virus.
That were used in the experiments, that were given in the annual reports, that were published in the literature, It is molecularly impossible.
No one's saying those viruses caused it.
It
no
is
one is alleging that
molecularly.
those viruses caused the pandemic. What we're alleging is that gain-of-function research was going on in that lab, and NIH funded it.
That
you
is
can't
not.
Get away from it. It meets your definition, and you are obfuscating the truth.
I'm not obfuscating the truth.
Senator
You are the
Paul's
one.
Time is expired, but I.
And nobody else stood here and said, yo, I'll donate my time to Rand Paul. Keep digging into this motherfucker. Legitimately. You keep digging into him until we expose him for the lying piece of human garbage that he is. I'm done with this. Legitimately. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.